Hola humans, Tredel the Comic God here, and today we're going to be designing the Osiris Kingdom. Ooh, what does that mean? I'll show you. Alright, so let me open my screen. Okay, so designing the Osiris Kingdom. Why does it have quotes around it? We'll get to that. But what we're going to be doing today is taking Zulu culture and Arctic culture, doing a little fusion, and we're combining their myths and legends. So right now, what I'm doing is basically more of a visual look, and I think I might split this into a few parts, but we'll see what we do. So this is the Set Empire. This is the region that all my stories happen in. All my stories happen in there. And right now, we are just looking over here into the Osiris Kingdom. And the Osiris Kingdom, why I'm being so specific on that is because a short story character that I'm developing is going to be put right here. And I did a showcase of my concept design process not too long ago, and I'm putting the characters from that in here, and I'm just moving a few things so it works within the Set Empire. So I'll just give you a little bit of how I got to my concept art and then how we'll be merging it to fit in this world. So that was my design sheet for like my kind of like lookbook, even though it's just a page, for my original concept. This is the Zulu culture. They have a mix of very colorful like wear, and they have a mix of like animal hides and stuff like that. The Zulu is or started as a warrior culture, and something I love personally is all these how bright and colorful these houses are. I think that's awesome. I don't know why in specific they're like that, but that's really cool to me. But looks badass Zulu warrior. So this is half of the vibe of what we're going for. And then I took this and I turned it into this. That's the lineup of my original concept art that I called Spirit Wars. I was doing a concept art for a game I made up. It was just basically for my portfolio. But now I'm turning these characters into characters for my short stories and my comic. So that's the whole lineup right here. I think he is going to be largely the same, but I'm pretty sure I might try to merge these two. I think her role is the artist. So, and basically she's the magician and he's the warrior. And I think I might make her older than him in my new story. I will show off. So, and this is all her artistry, and she makes paints and different stuff to heal him. She's basically like a white mage and a magic expert at the same time. These designs here are similar to these designs over here, and I thought it would be pretty cool if I made them into like magical seals almost, and I think a lot of the region will have these, and she'll be able to enter places no one else could enter because she is the artist and she can make her own, and that means she could break others, right? So she's basically like his white mage. She has his agency. I'm gonna scale her up to maybe 22, and I think I might scale him down to 18, maybe 18 to 16. I haven't decided yet, but I have similar patterns on his weapons. For this, I gave him potions for magic, stamina, and health because I was doing it for a video game. But for the story, we're going to focus on these, the mallet, the shield, and the spear. And as far as different patterns go, they'll have different powers. That's what I'm thinking. And then he could pick up these patterns in different villages or something. I don't know, but I'm just messing around with the idea, and I really like these weapons. I got them from when I looked into classic Zulu weapons, and then you see the spear and the shield in all of them, and then there's a few, maybe not in this book, where you see the hammer as well. And I think options are fun when it comes to a warrior, right? And then we have the spirit. So in the original version, the spirit was the little girl's mom who passed her power on to him. I think it's going to be very different. And then he was able to summon her, and her experience was able to help on the journey. I think the spirit's going to be very different. I'll get into that a little later. But these are the characters we're starting with. I'm going to more or less keep the vibe. I like the colors. But because it's the Arctic, I gotta give a reason either why they're dressed like this, or I gotta change it enough to, like, a magic talisman, I think, or something, why they could still wear their traditional wear and be in the Arctic, or they gotta dress warmer, obviously, because you're gonna just straight up get got by the cold if you stay like that. So the tasks are, I'm gonna merge the niece and aunt. I think I'm gonna get a new spirit. I gotta change the clothing to more cold coded. How is the cold looked at in that religion? So what my thought was the cold was brought on. It wasn't always that cold over there. And because of a skirmish that I'm not going to get too much into, the whole land just froze. And that's no fun, but it happened. How did they deal with it? How do they look at it now? And how do they overcome it? I think those are important questions. Like I said, how does magic help them in today? And I am trying to figure out if the animals should be African animals that I turn into being able to survive in the winter, or if I should have both regular animals that are in the Arctic and maybe some more magical animals that are African animals, like an Arctic hippo type deal, right? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. Or like an Arctic hippo, or like a Arctic alligator, stuff like that, where it's like you won't see it, but it's there because that change happened, and maybe they're more rare because only a few were able to turn into that. I think that would be kind of cool. So I gotta think how that works. Now, the spirit, who was this pretty female warrior, I'm thinking about turning into this old man, this old snake man. He was originally supposed to be the villain in this concept art, but I absolutely love his designs. I don't know which one I'm doing. I don't know which one I'm going for, if I'm going for something completely different. But this, in the Zulu culture, the ancestors helping you is apparently a huge thing. So he's going to be an ancestor of these characters, but he might be a twisted ancestor that they're not really sure what he's saying or who he is in the ancestral line. They might think he's evil at first, but then as they're able to go through their journey and clear it up and learn what they need to learn, they'll learn that he's a cool dude. He's chill, maybe. I don't know where I'm going to go with it yet. But he might be chill and it might be able to help, but just because he was in between the two planes, it didn't work well. That's where I'm thinking. And then, because he's a snake guy, have him maybe have some snake familiars that he's able to summon as a spirit, or maybe he's able to turn real snakes into some of these things, and that can help them out. And that is how, because the artist isn't really gonna fight, right? She's more of a magician. So her using the spirit, and then the spirit being able to summon things to help her, and if she gets stuck in a crazy situation, I think might work. But she's more brain, we're going to use magic, and none of her magics are overtly physical, you know? She can't cast fireball, is what I mean. But going back to the spirit, I'm pretty sure he's going to look more like this. I love this guy's design. I think it's super cool. And it's going to be like an old misunderstood ancestor who slowly is able to get understood. And then, so this is the environment that I like a little environment lookbook that I put together when I was going to do the environments for this project as well. I didn't end up doing that, but these are just so cool, right? So these houses with all these intricate designs, and then we have some African castles, and these are awesome. You don't usually see African castles because we're usually seeing more like English and like UK based castles, and that's what we see in fantasy mostly, but it's, or like palaces from the Middle East or something like that, even a Russian castle here and there, but never African castles. And I think these look so cool. So A, just me showing them I think is awesome, but B, me being inspired by it and fusing like the Zulu design with these awesome castles, I think would be cool, especially when I go and put like a for lack of a better term, ice filter over it and make it in the Arctic. I just got to figure out, are there any I don't think there are any. I was going to ask if there's any castles in the Arctic. That's not a place that's conducive to build something so grand, I don't think. But maybe that's something I should have looked about, because I don't think there's anything that. Anyways, back onto this. I think having something like this or this super grand, and then making it like that. And these are all the magical seals that protect it. Maybe magical seals that keep it warm, too. I think that would be pretty cool. So I have to do a cool merger between the two. Have an awesome gate, kind of like that. Everything within the walls are nice and warm, possibly. I think that would be a pretty cool look. Especially in the... Imagine it's winter, and everything is frozen, and then you look at a place in the distance, and it's completely fine. It's glowing with warmth. I think that's a cool visual. So I gotta fuse the two, which I think would be a super fun project. And then, seeing all these designs, I just wanted to show off the weapons that I came up with. These would be all used by the warrior, and they all have different interesting geometric designs that I tried to pull from the Zulu. And each one would have its own power. So I could see the artist going and painting new designs for different power. Maybe the shield takes in all damage and then disperses it, and then maybe a different design just reflects it, and maybe a different design does whatever else. Same with these over here. I think how I'm going to start it is all the weapons can swap with each other. I think that would be pretty cool. Like, you're going in to hit with the hammer, and then you can swap with the spear and just be like, psych, right? Or someone's about to get you, but your shield arm is down, and then you could just swap to the shield to the other arm. I think that would make a fun fight scene. So I think it's going to start like that, and then whatever adventure they come across, they're like, we gotta switch it up because we're fighting whoever, so we need a different power set, and then the artist switches the power set of the hammers or of the weapons, and bada bing bada boom, it's an easier time. It's like Spider-Man in those old cartoons when he used to change his webbing to, I need a rubber lining so the shocker doesn't electrocute me type deal, right? So I think that could be cool. So back to the set empire map. This is the region that we're dealing with. The kingdom itself is always on the wrong layer. So the kingdom itself is over here on the water, and then I'm gonna have the main character just kind of go all throughout here and probably never leaving this mountain range, like never going beyond the mountain range, at least not that far. Maybe there's a story where he goes over here and meets the monkey men, and that would be the most south he would go, in my opinion. But I'm showing you this mainly to give you a vibe of why I should why I'm putting the Zulu into a place that looks like place that looks like that. I'm going to merge the two, and I think it's interesting, and I think actually there's some cross-pollination between the two cultures, because over here you see the designs that they put on their clothing, right, and how much color they actually use. And over here, look at all that color. That's amazing. And then you go back to the Zulu, and obviously they're wearing a lot less because they're in a hot climate, but you have the designs on the clothes, you have the color, you have even the animal skins, right? There's a lot that's similar between the two. So I just thought that was really cool to find the intersection between the two cultures that I was going to merge, and I didn't even know that before I started searching it. But also, look at that. Stuff like this is going to be so beautiful to design. I haven't designed anything ice related, and I just think that is super cool. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to be happy to merge the narwhals. Hell yeah. Narwhals are awesome. I'm going to be happy to merge the two. I think this is going to be a really fun project. Putting these guys in this environment, I think will be super interesting and super cool. So I'm excited to get started. I'm going to come back and show you what I come up with as far as merging the two cultures go. And I'm going to probably give you more story while I do that. So right now, I'm just going to leave you guys with, I am merging these guys with these guys and these guys, and they're gonna look awesome. It's called the Osiris Kingdom because that culture doesn't call it, but the whole Set Empire calls them that for a different story reason that I may reveal next time. So if you like this, like, subscribe, if you want to see more, and let me know specifically what part of the process do you want to see. Do you want to see me actually drawing it? Do you want to see the sketches and the designs? Let me know. And I hope you all have a beautiful day. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. If you want to see anything specific, as far as like the sketches or the whole process, or should I do a live while I start this whole thing, let me know. And if there's anything else you want to see from me as far as my own stuff or drawing tips or sketches, just let me know. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day. Peace out, people. Appreciate it.